This is the Gift of Gab podcast. I'm your host, Gabrielle, connecting you to the highest and flyest in the Mile High City. Follow me on all major platforms at the Gift of Gab 555. This episode is sponsored by the Ever Collection by K. Michael. Visit evercollection.nyc to get a pair of the flyest eyewear in the game. Tag me on social media in your eyewear for a shout out on the podcast. We hope that you enjoy the show. And today I have Miss Barb. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. You could be anywhere, but you're here with me, so I'm very grateful. I always like to start off with you telling me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm Barb, and I have been a dancer most of my life. That was the main focus of my early life. I trained pre-professionally, and then I danced professionally, and I taught in the public school system for 10 years.
Oh.
I taught dance at a fine arts high school in Austin, and fine arts middle school in Boulder, and an elementary school in Denver, and tons of little private studios. I still teach dance, but as I've gotten older, I've really started to embrace my somatic practice.
Okay.
And so how does movement as medicine show up in your life, and is that something that you can embrace and bring into your daily practice so that you are manifesting from the inside out that wellness, So I like to teach, I like to work one-on-one with people. I do a thing called a body story, which is a timeline you create from the moment you were born up until now, and you document on it years where you've had some sort of significant mental, emotional, or spiritual either challenge or some kind of like gift that came into your life, like some kind of like epiphany type moment that you'll just like never forget. And I take all of that and I kind of look at what your body's presenting from all that information. Have you had a sprained ankle? Did you break your knee? Did you start having migraines? Did you stop having your period? Did you, I like really try to look at what has happened and where I see that your body is holding that.
Wow.
And I can develop a personalized, unique practice with somatics. And then I also am embracing the practice of nutrition as self-care as well. And so I can personalize packages of superfoods. I'm a superfood mentor through a company called Purium. And so you can use foods in all kinds of ways. They've been doing this for ages. I say they, but we as humans embraced food as medicine before we ever, started concentrating all the parts and pieces of the food and making
this. And no, I was literally just having a conversation about that the other day with my sister, and she was trying to tell me how her friend, in certain cases, medication does this for people. And I said, yes, I'm not taking away from that, but before there was medication, there was food.
Yeah.
There was food, and I just truly believe you can heal anything with food.
Well, I love to say that there's a time and a place for Western medicine. Certainly, you can't use food to do a surgery.
Yes.
You can't use food for somebody whose kidney is failing to such an extreme point. There's going to need to be interventions like insulin or things like that, So there's a time and a place for Western medicine. However, if you can meet your health challenges utilizing those tools from Western medicine, and then really support that by caring for your body in this other way, in this other self-care practice, not only can you address challenges that you're having, but you can preventatively maintain a homeostasis in your body that keeps you from presenting that gene expression. And it's all the way down to like an epigenetic level and like what's happening in your DNA.
Wow,
So
I think you explained that the best I've ever heard it. Like, I am so excited. I didn't even realize, like, I saw that you have worked in dance a little bit, but I didn't know as much about that. And for me, I always call it, instead of working out, I call it movement, because yes, I do like weightlifting. Yes, I do like all forms of movement. But when you're talking to somebody that doesn't love to work out, movement is so important, whether it's working out or it's dancing or it's swimming or playing with your kids. And so the fact that that's kind of where you start, we're so aligned. This is great. So how did you find out that you were into dance? Like, where did that start?
So both of my parents were musicians growing up. My mom's a singer-songwriter. She's like a folky, bluesy kind of singer-songwriter. She played the piano in the house all the time. She was a music teacher, always with piano students and voice students over. And my father is a bluegrass picker. He played the guitar, um, still to this day plays the guitar. So we grew up like going to music festivals, and when you have music in your house like that all the time, it's pretty natural that you dance. Everybody
Yes.
shows you how to groove and how to shake your
Mm-hmm.
booty. And so I got really into it. You know, my mom was like, okay, I'm going to put you in dance classes. Like, it's an obvious. And so I was like in a little jazz tap ballet studio. And it was really my way of creative expression. They say that, you know, when you meet a person, the way that they hold and present their body, you learn more from that than any of the words that come out of their mouth. And they
Mm-hmm.
teach you that too, like in business training, and they teach you that like in the corporate realm. If you're in like customer relations or PR or whatever, you really pay attention to body language first before anything else, um, especially if you're kinesthetic. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
also a kinesthetic learner. So I've always been, you know, an athlete, like super into dance and movement, but also like very spatially aware.
Mm-hmm.
People that are like architects and things are kinesthetic learners. Um, so that's just what I'm geared towards. And so when I dance, I have this experience of full creative expression,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is something that all bodies need. I was actually listening to this thing earlier today, and it was talking about shamanic healers in a particular community, that when somebody has an ailment, the first things that they ask are, when did you stop dancing? And when did you stop singing?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like just as a human species, this is a thing that we have done in gatherings and ceremonially and in a community way since the beginning of time. And in our current society, our input of creative expression comes through a screen
Yes.
so often, and with our children and with everybody. And that's what I mean, that's like really my mission on this earth, is reconnecting human beings with each other in an authentic way, and reconnecting us as a species back to the earth.
Back to how things are supposed to be. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
always, oh my gosh, I'm trying to collect everything you just said because that was great. But for me, I'm always trying to tell people, I'm like, my kids especially, because for me, I don't really care what other people do, but I do want my kids to get some of what I'm talking about. And I'm like, why are you watching other people move around? Why are you watching other people enjoy their lives on the screen instead
Mm.
of, like, that's not what we're here
Mm.
for. We're not here to go to school. We're not here to work. We're not here. That's not our purpose here. And it's just so amazing to me how out of that so much of society is. And I think that's why I'm so drawn to the people that do these different types of modules. I have been training to do breathwork facilitation, and one
Mm.
thing that I've noticed in facilitating that I want to bring to it is the dance perspective of it. When I'm hosting the space, I'm like, if I think I could release and move this energy around a lot more if I danced, if I was moving around and just teaching people how to do that. Because sometimes people are super still, but sometimes they start moving around, and I'm like, wouldn't it be awesome if we could find a way to mesh these together? And one of the retreats I did, we did karaoke right after we did this breath work, and she
Nice.
said it's so important for you, like, you to express yourself, use your voice and sing. And I was literally up later than everybody else. I was like, oh, let's try this song, let's try this song, because we were just at a house with people I was comfortable with.
Mhm.
It wasn't so different when you go to a karaoke like bar and
Mhm.
wait for your turn, and then
Mhm.
everybody's like, oh, I tried every song, and I'm like, okay, note to self, that one's hard. Don't do
Yes.
that one.
This one I can vibe with.
But it's
Yes.
just so freeing. Like, for
Mhm.
me, I was a different kind of dancer, but the first thing I ever wanted to be when I was young was a dancer in those music videos, because when I was young, I didn't know the connotation that they have or whatever. And I was like, look so cool. And I've been noticing how disconnected I am from my childlike self because I don't get out and move around the way I
Yeah.
used to. And it's become more masculine and robot-y, just like working out all the time and
Totally.
doing this, and this. And for me, dancing is more like it's better than drugs. Like I feel so free and light and
Yeah.
just like I just did something,
Well,
you
there's
know.
actually like a hormonal release that takes place when you move your body. You know,
Mhm.
you can actually access and tap into your body's chemistry through
Mhm.
movement in so many different ways. And I love what you were saying. You really like got into like several topics that I
I know
wanted
I
to
was
touch
trying to
on.
remember everything.
But I think that the main thing really with the movement of our body is this experience of embodiment.
Yes.
So the experience of living in a full expression of your physical being.
Mhm.
And like I said, with the phones and everything and our access to like creative expression, in the same way, our bodies are not used in the same ways that they were when we were
Mhm.
still in tune with the earth. You know,
Mhm.
we sit in chairs, we sit
Yep.
in cars, we sit in offices, you know, we lay in beds.
We don't like the elements when it's too hot. We need
Right.
AC
We're not
when
out cruising across, you know, through the forest or whatever to get to the river to catch some fish. We're not out like with this other way of being in our body. And with breath and body work, the impact that I've seen it have on my life and the
Mhm.
impact that I see it have on other people's lives when they start that practice
Mhm.
is so powerful that
Mhm.
sharing breath work with people is something that anyone who does breath work should be doing.
Yes.
People need to know and understand like most of your body forms out of your diaphragm,
Mhm.
as you're in the like as an embryo when your body is forming. So the movement of your diaphragm and the way that the blood flows through the diaphragm, all of that stuff branches out into the function of the rest of your body and your organs.
Mhm.
The flow of oxygen through
Yep.
your body is, as far as your metabolism goes, it's one of the most important things. And so I'll just get a little bit into one of the reasons through connected to breathing why
Mhm.
this nutrition is so impactful. So I started doing breath work when I was caring for my mother in hospice. And
Mhm.
one of her friends sent me the Dalai Lama's healing prayer. And it's him chanting this healing prayer.
Mhm.
And anybody who's listened to the Dalai Lama chant knows the depth of the vibration that his voice encapsulates. It's it's very intentionally powerful and you just feel it. And it's 40 minutes longish. And I would sit every single morning just to like keep my anxiety, you know, at bay. And it completely changed my life.
Yeah,
It completely changed my
for
life.
me, the breath work, the reason that I was like, I have to do this, like, this is definitely what I'm here for me, it was because I have tried, I'm not very into like therapy in Western medicine. It's just
Mm-hmm.
not what I'm into. So I have tried so many different things, working out, eating better, talking to people
Mm-hmm.
to deal with my traumas.
Yep.
And until I found this breath work, it's just so it's non-invasive. Like it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't take you anywhere you're not ready to go, and it doesn't take you like a bad trip down
Yeah.
trauma lane,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it almost like when you're in there and you think about trauma, it's almost like, and it like lets it go. One.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I always tell people if you can learn to incorporate this into your life, yes, it helps to have a practitioner and somebody to teach you what you're doing, but breath is free. Like you can
Mm-hmm.
breathe
Mm-hmm.
anytime, any place, whenever you need to
Yes.
come back to your body.
Yes.
And so for me, I don't think there's a single person that can't benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially people that are in the more like I can use my words. I'm great at
Mm-hmm.
having conversations with people, but that unspoken just repositioning of your DNA like that it
Mm-hmm.
feels like it does. For me, I had such a crazy experience. I won't go too into detail, but like the body talk in this whole breath work world, it you can learn stories about people without them saying anything. And now that I have been doing it long enough, I have literally, there was just this vision that I've had my entire life. And I'm like, dreams about it. And I'm like, what is that? Like, where is that coming from? That didn't happen to me. Why am I holding this? And then I confirm that it was my mother's story. Like, it was because we were talking about how things are passed through the womb and down to your
the
kids.
ancestral trauma.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, wow. And then I confirmed it, and it was like exactly how I saw it. And I'm like, this is
you
magic.
watch your parents, right? You watch your parents fear. You watch your parents embrace things. You watch your parents run from things. You watch your parents neglect things. And in watching them, that's what teaches you. That's your code for living, you know, in this realm. And so it is extremely powerful. And that doesn't only happen with our mentality of, you know, what we're scared of and what we embrace, but it also, we watch them consume. And we watch them eat what they eat. And we watch them, you know, some parents drink alcohol, some parents smoke weed, some parents are like doing coke, some parents, you know, we watch what our parents consume and we see that as consumption.
Yes.
And so we get to this age, you know, which I'm like feeling very like satisfied to kind of be like coming out the other end of this like transformation that I've been through in my life. Because I was raised pretty well. Like my parents really set a pretty good example of, you know, how to consume foods given what they knew. And I was a smoothie girl. I worked at the smoothie bar. I worked at the juice bar. You know, I had dreadlocks. I thought that was so cool at the time. I eventually shaved them all off when I like realized
I've always wanted to try it, but I'm like,
that's a whole other podcast, girl. We could go into the whole topic of dreadlocks. But basically, I had kids and I got married and I got swept away into this career of teaching, and I was busy. I was nonstop. I was like convenience eating. I was eating the things that were just presented in front of me at the grocery store that were the easiest to make, the fastest to make, the cheapest to buy, right?
Yep.
We're taught to like save your money and like purchase, you know, whatever these things, like everything that's instilled in us by our parents, by our communities, by our culture, by social media, by the television shows, by the movies,
even by doctors. Because if you watch that show, that documentary, What the Health, it literally, people always tell me when they think I'm going conspiracy theory on them, like, why would they do that? And I'm always like, money. This same person that owns the pharmaceutical companies owns those cows that you're eating, owns owns the schools that teach the doctors. Like, the doctors aren't bad people, but telling people with diabetes to eat more red meat scientifically doesn't make any sense.
There's so many different aspects, and this is why another reason why I have really stepped into this like radical lifestyle of trying to gear myself as much as possible towards eating foods that I don't buy at the grocery store, that are not coming from the industrial food industry, which is the industrial food farms where they're growing produce. It's GMO produce. It's sprayed with herbicides and pesticides. There's heavy metals. The soil is not living. The water is not living. It's fluoridated. And the food is irradiated. And unfortunately, what that does is it means that when you get the food, it doesn't have the nutrient density that it used to have when your grandparents were getting it at the grocery store. And it was being grown in living soil, watered with living water, and they weren't using all these pesticides and herbicides. And so not only am I able to buy my food from a company that I morally support, right? But I'm able to now also make a living by offering those foods to other people. And it's a powerful movement. There's also an activist wing of what we do, where we're really having a weekly Zoom and we're talking about the activism and we're educating each other
to make it more available, because I think that that's the hardest thing that I've noticed about changing my eating habits and my nutrition is even when you shift to eating fruits and vegetables, like you said, if you're buying those fruits and vegetables at Walmart,
Mhm.
yeah, it's better than putting like fatty stuff into your body, but it doesn't have the nutrients. So you're still going to need other things. You're still going
Mhm.
to need so much.
You'll still be undernourished.
And the money factor of it.
Mhm.
So many people, it's not ever going to be what is given to people because
Mhm.
I mean, let's face it, we have a huge population of people. If
Yeah.
everybody knew, the entire system would have to make a change,
Mhm.
but making it more accessible for people and just educating people, I think is
Yeah.
huge because people are so triggered by food.
Mhm.
Like, even my mom, I was having a conversation about not eating meat, about trying to be more
Mhm.
like vegan because of everything they do to the meat. And she was kind of upset because she's
Mm.
from a different generation of
Mhm.
the food pyramid, and this
Right.
is where you get your protein, and this
Right.
is where you get
Where
this.
we really trusted the doctors still to
Yes.
deliver us the information and knowledge
Mm-hmm.
about the human body and about what's best for our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like with the cigarette companies, at one point they were like, oh, this causes cancer. And it took a good 10 years before they found that out and then actually were able to pass a law.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they couldn't sell it, mind you, but that they at least have to say on there, this is addictive
Well,
and causes cancer.
it's like right
you know?
now how they have the vaping. For me, I can tell you my body rejects things right away. Like when I'm
Mhm.
doing something, even alcohol, like when I'm doing something I'm not, my body's like, you know better. Now you have to
Mhm.
do better. But the vaping is so much worse for you. I promise you, 10 years from now, there are going to be all of those like lawsuits going on and all those
Mhm.
things on this vaping.
Mhm.
But when it first comes out,
Yeah.
they sell you this is the healthier alternative.
And that's what's happening. And so, what we call this in the health and wellness industry is green labeling
Okay.
or like medical labeling. And so, with foods, when you look at labels in the grocery store, and I encourage everybody the next time you go to the grocery store, when you walk down the aisle to look for this, because when you really look for it, it becomes super obvious. But there will be labels on foods that have like big green sections of the cover of the box or whatever it is. And so you're like, oh, organic, or oh, this is, oh, and natural. Like
Mm-hmm.
natural literally means nothing. There's no like actual, like,
Backing for that.
there's nothing that's checked to be like, this is a natural product. The founder of our company is actually one of a group of people that had the organic labels put on foods in the
Okay.
first place so that we could know that this is a product that is not going to have any extra things
And
added
there's
to it.
several different organic labels. Like you want to see both of them correctly.
And you want non-GMO, you
Mhm.
want organic. And what's unfortunate, even about the organic produce that we now are buying in the stores, is that yes, it's a non-GMO seed. Yes, it's not going to have, anything added to it or like applied to it. However, it still could have glyphosate in it.
Yep.
Glyphosate, even if they did not like newly spray the produce with glyphosate was just tested to be in 80% of our soil
Mm-hmm.
and close to 80% of our water.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are buying produce that was grown on an organic farm and it's being watered and it's in soil that used to have glyphosate sprayed on it, it's still going to be in there. And it's in our yards and it's in the umbilical cords of babies that are being born.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in all of our bodies and it's a neurotoxin. When it gets into your blood, it actually crosses the blood brain barrier. And it's just being linked and correlated to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ADHD type symptoms, anxiety, depression. The gut brain connection is really strong because your hormones. I think about The Memory of Water. If anybody's ever read that book, the scientist who discovered that water actually holds memory. And this is where I see a lot of the trauma that people hold in their bodies. The way that your hormones crystallize in the liquids of your bodies, that's what creates your feelings. That's what creates your emotions.
That's why you can't just get rid of it.
And those are created in your gut.
Wow, I've been listening to the book The Body Keeps the Score on Audible, and yesterday I was in the part where they're talking about how yes, they've seen improvements with all these psych meds, yes, but the rate of depression and hospitalization for it has tripled. It's not going down. And for me, when I hear stuff like that, I just think about the toxicity because our water, people that work at a water treatment plant, I've spoken to them before, and they actually don't know how to get that stuff out of the water. So like birth control has been found in the fish that we eat, in it's definitely in the water, you know, and people just don't know.
They just started a huge project to actually test the water throughout the entire country for what's called forever chemicals. So these are chemicals that are in the water that will never go away, right? That's a really big deal. We're living in a toxic chemical world. And you look at practices like Ayurveda, for instance, which is a Vedic ancient practice. It's synonymous with yoga. It's another yogic practice of consuming foods for your specific body type, and for the season that you're in, and also eating foods for your particular health challenges. The difference between Ayurveda and what we do at Purium is that we also are detoxing and cleansing the body in a way that addresses that chemical state of the body that we're in. And so when you do a pack with us, we really work with you as a health coach and what we call a superfood mentor. And so there's different packs. You can do just like the regular pack, which is what I started with, or you can do a performance pack. You can do a collagen building pack, which is really nice for your hair, skin, and nails. But also collagen is like what holds your entire body together. It's like the glue inside your body, not just your skin, but your whole insides, your organs. We have a collagen pack for people, and we have an immunity pack for people. And so you can kind of pick what you do, but no matter what pack you get, you're getting a shake. Your shake is going to have about 6 superfoods worth of nutrition, 6 superfood salads worth of nutrition within it. So literally, if you think about a superfood salad, so not like an iceberg lettuce salad, not something like that, but a salad that is like, you know,
like the
arugula
rainbow
and spinach
bowls,
and like a rainbow bowl. So you're getting 6 of those. Literally, you can drink one in like 5 minutes. And it is alkalizing your body. You know, it's just creating a state inside of your body where disease does not want to live. You know,
I love that because for me, I on my non-negotiables in a day when I don't properly eat and when I'm like, oh, I can just whatever, I'm just gonna do this today because it's easier or because it's cheaper or because everyone else is doing it. I'm sluggish all day. I just want to sleep. And so for me, used I used to be like, oh, I love food. I don't want to have to do that. But what I've really noticed is that when you do something like that and you already have the nutrients that you need, your taste buds almost kind of change because a lot of times when you're craving sugar or you're craving this meat, it's because your body is lacking something and your mind and the way your body works has been tricked to think that's where you get it.
So the science behind this has to do with your gut microbiome, which is the next part of all the packs that we offer. We have a combination of different superfoods that's called Biomedic. And Biomedic addresses your gut microbiome. So your gut microbiome is the makeup of all the microbes, the bacteria, the viruses, the funguses, and things that are living inside of your gut that help to process whatever you're putting in there. So what you crave is determined by the makeup of the microbes in your gut. So if you're feeding yourself synthetic foods and binders and fillers and you're not fully getting nutrified, your body is going to crave what those microbes want to eat, which is processed sugar, salt.
That's what you keep eating.
Fried foods, fatty foods, because that satiates the microbes and makes you not feel hungry. The problem is you're not getting the nutrients that your organs need now. You're not
Mm-hmm.
getting the nutrients that your heart needs. You're not getting the nutrients that your brain needs and your nervous system needs. And so we live in, people say, the most overfed, undernourished food culture.
Yeah, I
And
can
that's
see that.
because all these binders and these fillers and these just literal fake food products. When
Mm-hmm.
you go to like McDonald's or Burger King and even at the grocery store, most of the box foods that you can buy, the chips,
Mm-hmm.
the rice, the flour, the grain, all of the stuff is so highly processed with so many synthetic additives that you're not getting what you need to get, you know?
This sounds like a much better route to take, is having just learning about what it is that you can eat, because when I
Mm-hmm.
first started this journey, I started it with reading labels, and you will literally by the end of the day be so hungry and sick to your stomach if you just read
Mm-hmm.
labels all day
I have
because
an
it's
app
fake.
actually that I can share with you.
Okay.
I can share it with you. You can link it or whatever, but it's an app that you can scan the barcodes at the grocery store and
Mm-hmm.
it basically tells you yay or nay.
Oh,
Like put this
wow.
in your body, don't put this in your body. And then it tells you why. It tells you what ingredients are in there that you should not be consuming. And then it gives you alternatives of other companies that have a similar product that you could buy that won't have those things in there.
Yeah, I need that
Um,
because for me, I'm always like, you try to go for that green labeling that you're talking
mhm,
about. You try to make healthier
mhm,
decisions. And then I follow this
mhm,
food babe or something on
mhm,
Instagram, and she'll break down the ingredients for you. And
mhm.
you're just like,
What the
what?
heck?
What?
Right.
Like,
But I really like wheat thins. Like I thought they were healthy my whole life. Yeah, I know. But
it's,
so I just want to like run through really quick the
yes.
Biomedic because it's such a special and such an amazing product.
Mm-hmm.
It has humic and fulvic acid, it has prebiotics and probiotics, and some roots and herbs that all address your gut microbiome. And it's really brilliant the way that it was put together and devised. It's also a combination of things that a lot of holistic doctors will give to you when you're in a diseased state.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's all at very safe levels that are appropriate for like a continued maintenance of your gut microbiome.
Okay.
Like I will never stop taking it. So the
Mm-hmm.
way it works, when you eat binders and fillers and chemicals and all this crap your whole life, fried foods, all the things, basically the inside lining of your digestive tract, all the epithelial or skin cells on the inside of your digestive tract, they have little hairs on them called microvilli. And the microvilli starts to get mashed down and you start to build up like this layer. Um, so when you do like a cleanse detox, you're pulling all of that layer of gunk. Like when you think about like getting your oil changed or something like
Yep.
that, right? Like over time, the mechanics of your digestive system get clogged up with all this material that the body has not evolved to digest, right? We stopped evolving a long time ago.
Yes.
We're not evolved for all these things that man made after our body stopped evolving.
Yeah.
So the humic and fulvic acid go in there and they pull all this gunk out. I think of it like, like when you've been brushing your hair with a brush for a long time and you pull that layer of hair
Mm-hmm.
out of the brush and all of a sudden it's like, oh my
I'm
gosh, my
thinking of
brush
it
is
like
clean.
those foot baths that you take, where you
Yes.
do that foot bath and it pulls
It
all that
pulls
stuff
it
out.
out.
Like that's what I'm
Absolutely.
picturing, kind of.
Absolutely. It pulls it out so that your digestive system can pass it along. Okay. So that's the humic and fulvic. That's what that does. And then the roots and the herbs are essentially helping you like increase your body's muscular ability to be really pushing things out of your body.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Because that starts to shut down. Like when people have leaky gut, you basically have like holes in the lining between those epithelial cells, and all those like toxins and free radicals and things are just floating out into
Mm-hmm.
your body where
Mm-hmm.
they're not supposed to be. So we're repairing that. Okay. We're
That's why we
pulling
get
everything
just
out.
things that grow
Yeah.
in
It's
our
like when you have a
body.
cut, right? Like the doctor wants to like clean it out. And then after you clean it out, you protect it and you make sure that it's not going to be further injured by reflourishing your gut with the prebiotics and the probiotics. So that's all the good microbes
Mm-hmm.
that are going to assist the function of your digestive system,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's the sorry, Biomedic.
Biometric.
Biometric. I take it every single day. It's just 2 little capsules, you know, and it's all like live dehydrated superfoods that you're eating, and then the prebiotics, probiotics. And so that's the shake and the Biometric. And then additionally, you get these super aminos. And this is amino acid protein complex that they've made. So if you're looking to like build muscle, okay, this was created for coma patients. It's actually in the physician's desk reference. Okay. It's the only thing that we have that is like a super powerful protein builder in your body, which is not just for your muscles and your bones, but all your organs. Everything is made up of protein.
Yeah, protein.
And it's all the essential aminos. And it's pre-digested, okay? If you eat protein, your body has to break that protein down into aminos and then build it back into protein.
And that's assuming your whole system is working correctly and it doesn't get like...
It's not bioavailable. So you are eating all these grams of protein, but your microbiome is messed up. And so you're only absorbing like a portion of that protein and the rest of it is just getting flushed out. With this, you're taking the aminos, so your body doesn't have to break down a protein. So energetically, you're saving energy for the rest of your metabolic activity in your body. So you're giving your body a break energetically, and you're building protein within 23 minutes. It goes straight to your bloodstream and builds protein. So you're not having to wait until it gets digested and then comes back out as protein. So it's a really great way, and it's all sourced from legumes.
That's
so
amazing.
It's a great protein builder. And then the apothecary is the last part. And the apothecary is this dark cherry syrup. And you mix it with like a little hot water. You can make like a tea with it, whatever. But you drink it before you go to bed. It's the most powerful antioxidizing fruit on the planet. It also lowers your C-reactive proteins. So inflammation in your body can be remediated just by simply having this to drink every single night. Can really inflammation marker is what they look for to see if a patient might be developing a disease.
Wow.
So when you're maintaining the inflammation in your body, it can be a great preventative measure and also a great way to support yourself if you're already in a diseased state.
Wow.
It also works on your pineal gland to help your body produce its own melatonin.
Oh, wow.
And so it regulates your synodic cycles, and that's why you drink it before you go to sleep, because it helps you get a deeper sleep and a longer sleep. And a lot of people have like more vivid dreams when they drink it, they describe. And it eliminates free radicals from your body.
Yes.
So that your body has more fresh oxygen and is not having to deal with all these
that like literally covered because I've like learned a lot, but not from nutrition, just from nutritionists, just from, you know, learning about heavy metals, learning about detoxing, learning about that. And I feel like that little kit that you just described really hit it all around. So if you are using one of these packs that you get, what do you eat when you do eat? Like, what do you... Because I know some people are like, oh, well, I still like food. So what do you eat?
So we have a list of what we call flex foods. And so when you get a pack, you're getting 2 meals a day worth of nutrition. So that's 60 days within the month. And so what I do is I wake up and I have a shake with a serving of aminos, which is about like a chicken breast's worth of protein is what you're getting out of that. A serving of the aminos and my Biometric. And then a couple hours later, I'll have a snack. So I'll have something off of the Flex Foods list, okay? So there's like a list of proteins you can eat, a list of fruits you can eat, a list of vegetables you can eat, a list of, you know, all the like macros also that you can eat, the carbohydrates and the fats and the proteins. And so I'll just pick like, okay, well, I'm going to have like Ezekiel bread, live sprouted grain, cinnamon raisin toast with a cup of blackberries for my snack. I just like pick things off of there. This is what I'm going to have this week as my morning snack. And then for lunch, I'll have another shake. So I'm eating 6 superfoods with a chicken breast's worth of vegan protein and my gut repair. So I'm getting that prebiotic, probiotic like twice a day as well.
So your body's like kicking really into gear by lunchtime.
You are flooding your body with nutrients, and the amount of energy that I have to get through my day compared to how I was operating before
when you were eating
food.
Or
when I was not eating food.
Yes.
Because rather I would skip breakfast because I don't have time. I'll just wait till later. and then be starving and go for what I crave.
Mm-hmm.
At which point your gut microbiome is all fucked up and you're craving all the wrong shit.
Yep.
So when you start your day with a shake and you drink that right away and you get all that protein built and you have your gut microbes in check first thing in the morning, guess what you're not going to be craving for the entire rest of the day?
Sugar.
All the bullshit.
Yeah.
You know?
Sugar.
And it goes deep for me because yes, you're craving sugar, but I also am really into the connection between our use of alcohol, our use of drugs, our need for
caffeine,
mental health medications and things like that. I really, in my experience of alleviating my own anxiety and my own depression and watching some of my other partners in Purium tell their story about coming off of meds for all kind of myriad different mental health diagnoses that were later removed because they started taking care of themselves with the use of nutrition, and that impacted them in such a way that they were able to, like, with the assistance of their doctor. And like I said, there is a time and a place for Western medicine. And when you're dealing with mental health, because of the toxicity and the chemical world we live in, it's a very delicate matter. My dad's a research psychopharmacologist, and so he studies the effects of drugs and alcohol on the brain. And from a biochemical perspective, it's very complex. And I think the malnourishment that we deal with in our country, specifically in the houseless population, the mental effect that has on you is really like keeping people on the streets. It's really like keeping people addicted to drugs. And there's actually drug treatment center now in Longmont that uses superfood nutrition to address addiction.
So my sister, she used she did an acupuncture before she went in, and her time, because when you very first come off of drugs, that's the most dangerous part for your body and the part that a lot of people struggle with and can take 3 weeks to a month to really be all right. And she did it in like 6 or 7 days because she tried to treat it with talking to her body. But it's really interesting to hear that you can do that with nutrition too, because for me, I think that so many people don't, you're told that this is bad, but just removing things isn't the answer. It's not, we're human beings. Right. We need things. That's
replacing things.
That's why we get addicted to things, because it's giving you something that you need.
Right. Yeah. And people are, like I said, we just like live in this undernourished society. When you have that desire to feel nourished, we're all born, well, we're not all born, but many of us are born into a scenario where we're drinking the purest food on the planet, which is mother's milk, which maybe not as pure as it used to be, given the presence of glyphosate now. However, and these other forever chemicals. However, when you have that deep nourishment that you're getting as a baby and you're really being cared for, and as a child, if you get older and you like stray away, and I've watched my teenagers do it, they go to McDonald's, they eat candy bars, they're drinking soda, and they're becoming more aware, and I watch them like get sick, and then all of a sudden, okay, I'll try some salad or whatever. Like, and they'll bounce back.
My favorite, when my son quit eating Taco Bell and McDonald's, like me, I was like, yes. Like, he's not perfect, but he sees the way it makes his stomach feel. He sees the way my dad was like, your son like won't eat Taco Bell, and I'm like, yeah, we don't eat Taco Bell, Dad. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know we used to, but I'm doing
That's the type of shit you could just like really pat yourself on the back about. And it is like a big thing. Like, our kids go to school, the school lunches that they serve, that food. Oh my goodness. I can't. It's so disappointing to me that we are just blindly giving our children things.
Well, and then they're learning in school,
poisoning them.
The things that they learn in school the same way that we were all taught, like that. It's just not, it's not true. And it just, you can't have, like, I tried to pull my son out when he's already been in public school and homeschool him, and he hated me for it. And he's back in his senior year in high school because he is like, no, Mom, you can't do that to me. Now, if I was to start all over, I would take control of his education, because if they're learning that in school, they're being
Mm-hmm.
fed that in school,
Yeah.
but you're always telling them no, it creates this distrust, and you don't
Uh-huh.
want to do that to your children
You
either.
either have to be like educating your children about the miseducation that they're being given,
Mm-hmm.
or just educating them yourself.
Yep.
Unfortunately, though, it's just like with everything else in the world, you can only protect your children to a certain point. And when they start getting to that age where they're like away from the house more, they're sleeping over at friends' houses, they're really concerned with their social group. They're, on the social media all the time. Like you don't even know what they're watching. You like have no idea
Nope.
what they're being exposed to.
And you'll drive yourself crazy.
And it's such a powerful influence.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like how we were probably like with TV when we were little. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? For them, it's social media, and you just don't know what they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, sometimes you're like pleasantly surprised. My son Ezra will come to me and like be like, "Oh, I just learned about this," and I'm like, "Oh wow, that's so cool," And then like the next day, it's like, "Mom, check out this music video," and it's like a devil curled up, and then I'm
Oh,
just like, "What is this?"
oh,
Like,
I know.
but you never know, And I think you do have to kind of trust your kids that they pick up on like what you do. But that's what I'm out here doing, Gabby. I'm like helping like
I'm so
guide
excited.
people towards this self-love practice. I'm helping people revolutionize and evolve the way that their kitchen exists in their family home.
Yes.
What are you putting in there? I use that app. When you go shopping, look at this app. Don't put anything in your kitchen that it says you can't buy. And it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
It
That's
is
what I was
not
gonna
easy,
ask.
but it's totally possible when you have a community of people helping,
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing we do is we have all these Zooms.
Yep.
And so we come together and it's not just like a nutritionist going, here's a list of things to eat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, now we're going to meet up every Wednesday at this time. And if you need like support, if you have questions, like we're here to motivate each other, like accountability partners. And like,
Mm-hmm.
and so as a group, we're coming together to like help each other on this journey. And like that part of the company is also just like extremely powerful. And I like to always mention that.
So what advice would you give to somebody that's kind of on the fence, that's like, I know I should be taking better care of myself, but I don't know where to start?
I would say hit me up, like do a consult with me, because whatever self-limiting beliefs that you're imposing upon yourself, whatever your mind is telling you, a lot of people run from risk. A lot of people will make excuses and come up with things to distract themselves from taking a risk, a perceived risk, because we're conditioned to be scared of that, because taking risks can be painful. But this is the most nurturing experience that you can have after taking a dive into a choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally, you're just like re-budgeting the money that you make and reallocating money that you already spend on food. Let's be honest. You're going out to eat, you're getting snacks at the gas station, you're getting your nails done, you're getting your hair done, you're going out to the club, you're buying a couple drinks, whatever. Maybe you're buying some blunts. You're going home, you're sitting on your butt, you're ordering something off of freaking Amazon.
You're paying for those subscriptions.
You're paying for those subscriptions. You got all the things. So I will sit down with you and we will look at your budget and we will reallocate to get you on this system for 30 to 90 days, can change the trajectory of the well-being of your entire life, doing something like this for yourself.
And in the long run, it's going to save money. I have been working with a financial company talking about saving for retirement or income protection, our fancy word for life insurance. But a lot of people don't want to think about the fact that you might get sick, especially if you are not taking care of yourself. And how are you going to, what are you going to do then?
Guess how much that's going to cost?
That's going to cost way more.
A lot more.
Than this. And
Yeah.
I promise you're going to feel much, much better. Like you're going to have the energy to chase your kids around. You're going to have the energy to go out and make money or hang out with your friends if you're not a parent. Sometimes I have to remind myself, not everybody is parents. So, you guys still need your nutrition too.
Yeah. Everybody does. And it is one of the best things that you can do for your family. We also have like a whole line of foods that are specifically for kids. We have like a chocolate shake that is geared towards children. And it
Mm-hmm.
has like a mushroom complex, a prebiotic, a probiotic, the fulvic, the humic acid, all of the superfood salad stuff. Like it has all that in there, but it's like for a kid
Yes.
and like a kid size serving
That's
of
great.
that. So you're already like helping your kids not have those chemicals in the body. You know, we can remove up to like 75%
Wow.
of these forever chemicals from your body with the Biomedic just by having it every day.
Wow.
The way that we do, and
I'm sold.
and you feel it. You really feel it.
I'm like, I need to sit down with you because
yeah.
it's just been such a journey for me, and it's something that I know for a fact is something that I am supposed to be like sharing and changing in my family, because I've just watched, I have all these brothers and sisters. We come from the same lifestyles, the same stuff, and all of them have different sicknesses and diseases that I don't have. And what is the big difference? I mean, one, I don't subscribe, but number two is the fact that I just take different care of myself. And when something doesn't feel right, I'm not like, oh, let's drown this out until we don't feel it anymore. I'm like, what can I do to fix this? So it's important. It's big.
Well, and the other thing that I would say, if you're like on the fence about your well-being and your self-care practice and wanting to dive into something like this, is like, come be educated. Like, we're here. We have all these Zooms. We have all these videos, these resources. I have a YouTube channel. I have like blogs I can send you. I have all this information that I can send you. There is no pressure to buy. Booking a consult with me, for me, is not about me trying to sell you something. Booking a consult with me is me sitting down with you and going, what are you dealing with? How can I help you? Can I support you with a somatic practice? What is a reasonable way that you and I can work through making this happen for you that feels fair for both of us? That might involve like you paying me some money, but that might also involve like some kind of a trade. Like maybe you are a massage therapist. Maybe you have some other service. You're like a designer and you could like trade me some clothes. You know what I mean? I'm totally open to that kind of like free market trade with my somatic practice, as well as my astrology charts that I do with people. I really can help you work through your mentality and your life in different ways like that. The superfood consult is completely free. And if you decide to do it, the only thing you pay for is the food. You're not paying me for the consult. And like, this is my life's passion. I'm not doing this as just like a side hustle where I'm trying to make some money. This is like, I want to help other people experience the deep level of healing that I have seen take place in my own body. I want to have other people experience that, because that's what's going to save our planet.
Yes.
And our foods, by the way, are all organic. All the produce is grown in regenerative living soil.
So they have,
and in compostable packaging.
So they have the supplements that you take, but you're saying they also have food as well?
So we don't do supplements. You are receiving supplementation and deep nourishment in your body, but it's not extracted micronutrients and macronutrients that are then added to a shake.
Oh, okay.
When you taste a shake and you're like, this does not taste like food.
Yes.
Right? What we do is completely different. We have a system and a process of live dehydrating these superfoods. So not only is it grown in regenerative soil, but it's picked at peak ripeness.
Okay.
You will not find produce at the grocery store that's picked at peak ripeness. They pick it because they know it's going to sit in a box for sometimes literally months before it even gets to your mouth, losing nutrient density the entire time. We pick it at peak ripeness, and within 90 minutes, it is being live dehydrated, juiced and live dehydrated. Okay. Wow. So what that means is that you're not only getting the macro and the micronutrients, but because it's live dehydrated at about room temperature, all of the enzymes are preserved.
Wow.
So it's not, there's like several different ways that we live dehydrate different types of produce and things like that to ensure that the enzymes are preserved. Because when your body is digesting, like if you're taking extracted supplements, like a vitamin from the store or one of these shakes that's just like all, like if the way is if the ingredients list is like vitamin E, vitamin D, vitamin K, instead of like a mixture of leafy greens and a mixture of
what the vitamins
dark
come from.
berries, right? You're either getting the whole food in the shake, or you've had these like vitamins and things extracted from food or created in a laboratory, literally,
To be honest.
stuck together in your shake. Okay. So we give you whole food supplementation when you have that extracted matter without the enzymes that your body needs to digest that matter. You're actually creating a more alkaline environment inside of your body. Mm-hmm. So by including the enzymes through this live dehydration process, you're getting the enzyme and the other plant material needed to be able to digest and make it more bioavailable
for the whole system.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. I'm like, we could talk about this forever.
It's truly next level. It really is truly next level. So hit me up. I'll give you my Calendly if you want to learn about it.
And like, I'll link all your stuff into the episode so that it's easy for the listeners. Mm-hmm. Ooh, any last words?
Like, let's save the planet. Let's save your body. Let's get you in alignment with like where this world needs to be. Like time is now. Mm-hmm. Peace.
Whew. So stay safe, stay high, and stay fly. And we'll see you next time.